Hello everyone, welcome to the Science Stuff. Today we are going to be discussing the differences between heat and temperature. In daily life, we use these terms almost interchangeably. But what do they really mean? Well, let's find out. First, let's look at the definitions of heat and temperature. Heat is the thermal energy transferred between systems due to a temperature difference. So heat is a form of energy. Heat also refers to the amount of energy in an object, measuring the total kinetic and potential energy contained by the individual molecules in that object. On the other hand, temperature is a physical quantity that quantitatively expresses the attribute of hotness or coldness. Temperature refers to the intensity of heat, measuring the average kinetic energy of molecules in a substance. So theoretically, we can say that these blocks of ice have a lower temperature than this fire. Now, let's look at the differences in units of heat and temperature. Heat is represented by the symbol of lowercase q or uppercase Q. The SI unit of heat is joules. The unit joule comes from James Prescott Joule, who was an English physicist who studied the nature of heat and discovered its relationship to mechanical work. This led to the law of conservation of energy, which in turn led to the development of the first law of thermodynamics. So a pretty important person. Other units of heat include calorie, kilocalorie, and BTU, or the British thermal unit. Temperature is symbolized by the capital letter T. The SI unit of temperature is Kelvin. Kelvin is named after Lord Kelvin, a British mathematician, mathematical physicist, and engineer. Other units of temperature are Celsius, Fahrenheit, and Rankine. Now, let's differentiate heat and temperature based off their measuring devices. The device used for measuring heat is a calorimeter. A calorimeter is an apparatus for measuring the amount of heat involved in a chemical reaction or other process. This is how an inside of a calorimeter looks like, and this is how a calorimeter looks externally. Temperature is measured using a thermometer or a pyrometer. Here we have a digital and a manual thermometer. This is a pyrometer, also known as an infrared thermometer, and it can take temperatures without contact. It is also known to have a greater range of temperatures. Now, let's look at the formulae of heat and temperature. The amount of heat gained or lost by a sample can be measured using the equation Q equal to mc delta T. M is the mass of the sample, C is the specific heat, and delta T is the change in temperature. Now what is specific heat? Specific heat is the quantity of heat required to raise the temperature of 1 gram of a substance by 1 degree Celsius. Temperature, on the other hand, is a fundamental quantity. Because of this, temperature doesn't have a formula. Now, let's look at the properties of heat and temperature. Heat flows from the hotter body to the colder body. This property is the reason heat transfer takes place until thermal equilibrium is achieved. Here we have a warmer object and a cooler object. we can clearly see the direction in which heat transfer is taking place, from the warmer object to the cooler object. Temperature is a quantity that indicates whether or not and in which direction heat will flow. Here we can see that the heat moves from the place with the higher temperature to the place with the lower temperature. Now, does this mean that heat transfer will only take place if there is a temperature difference? Well, no, it doesn't. Although in most cases this is true, there are some exceptions. Let's look at latent heat. Latent heat can be understood as a hidden energy which is supplied or extracted to change the state of a substance without changing its temperature or pressure. Here we have ice that is melting into water. The temperature of the ice and water is both 0 degrees Celsius. Even if the temperature is same, there is some heat energy given to the ice to change its state from solid to liquid. This is the latent heat. Latent heat plays a role in boiling as well, as you can see right over here. Thank you for watching this video. I hope you now have a clearer understanding between the differences of heat and temperature. Please like, share and subscribe and comment down below on any questions or suggestions you might have. And remember, you're watching the Science Stuff.